Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Monday morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing well out there this morning and having a wonderful start to your day. And I hope everyone had a great weekend and having a great start to their work week out there so far. We got some things to talk about in this morning's video, like we always do. And the first thing we'll speak on is this Arctic blast that will impact all of the eastern U.S. over the next several days. Now, it will warm up over the next couple days. In fact, today will be kind of the start of the warming trend that will last out literally just a couple days. It's going to get quite warm for the deep south. I'm not talking about 80s or 90s or anything like that, but it's going to get well into the 70s for a lot of folks. And of course, Florida could get into the 80s. But then we're really just going to focus in on that Arctic blast to follow. It's going to be quite cold for any kind of festive activities you got going on before Christmas, Christmas shopping. And in my opinion, that's the way it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be cold around Christmas. So we'll speak on that, focus in on that for you folks. And then we'll talk about what we've been speaking on for the last several mornings. And that is there going to be any kind of winter weather event with this cold air? What are we looking at? We'll go over all the latest information that we have, speak on that, compare model guidance and all that good stuff. And then we'll break down today's weather. So if you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. And if anybody has anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. And I haven't done this in I think a couple months, maybe longer, but if you've ever considered joining the channel, there's a join tab. I have many members, I think 30, 40, I think I have around 40 to 50 members right now that support my channel unconditionally. I don't have any cool merch to give you guys right now. Hopefully that's something I can get going in 2025. But it's just people that support my channel just unconditionally. So I just want to say thank you to you folks out there. But if you ever thought about finding a way to support my channel, it's a great way to do so, just joining the channel. And you get a little icon, and I certainly appreciate anybody considering, and anybody that has, and anybody that still is. So I just want to throw that out there. I haven't done that in a really long time. So with all that being said, let's get rocking and rolling this morning. So this is the latest Climate Prediction Center outlook. So this takes us this is basically the 6 to 10 day outlook. So this goes from the 21st to the 25th, Christmas Day, obviously, of this month. So the chances of below average temperatures are there in the blue. Once you start to get into the dark blue, that's a higher chance of below average temperatures. So 70% chance of temperatures being below normal in this area, in this darker blue, this kind of lighter shade of blue. That's 60. This is 50. This is 40, etc. Right? The chances of above average temperatures are certainly high, and it's likely going to happen across the central and especially the western U.S. This has been the general pattern over the last couple weeks. We've had continuous shots of cold air in the eastern U.S. The thing that we're missing is the phasing of energy. That's been the thing preventing us from getting any kind of winter storm across the I-95 corridor, or just freak early winter storm for the southeast, or anything like that. Instead, all we've gotten is basically lake effect snow and northwest flow snow. So and just these little weak systems, little impulses of energy, these clippers. But we have just not had the southern stream and the northern stream to really tango together, dance together at all. So that is what, in a way, we've kind of just we've kind of whiffed on this air mass. We really have. It's been a missed opportunity for winter weather fans across the eastern U.S. But of course, we can't control the weather. It is what it is with this. But below average temperatures look to dominate the days leading up to Christmas for the eastern half of the country. Now, we'll go on and take a peek at the 8 to 14 day outlook. This takes us through the 23rd all the way through like the 28th through 29th or something like that. I could click on this, but I'm not. But it looks like we're going to switch to a warmer than average temperature pattern going forward after Christmas. Models have continued to really like the idea of this, and I think just the entire, not just the lower 48, but all of North America is going to get flooded with warm Pacific air. And this happens a lot when you have a blast of Arctic air that really digs down into the lower 48. Typically to follow, we have kind of a reverse, if you will, and we get flooded with a lot of Pacific air. But I'm starting to see signs that this is not going to last overly long, but we're going to see. I don't want to talk too much in the future here, but did just want to take a peek at the 8 to 14 day outlook. But let's go back to our Arctic blast. I'm going to focus in on the central U.S. and then go to the eastern U.S. Now, I will tell you the tilt of this cold air is more so tilted towards the eastern U.S., but it is going to get quite cold for certain areas of the central U.S. also. So these are high temperatures tomorrow. I mean, warm 70s, even close to some 80s down here in southern Texas. I mean, even down here in extreme southern Texas, all the way into the low to maybe mid 80s down here. But, starting to get really cold up here in the north central U.S., the upper Midwest, and we go on and move in another frame here to Wednesday. These are high temperatures. So high temperatures only in the single digits in northern Minnesota, areas of northeast and northern North Dakota. Highs only in the single digits, highs only in the teens. A little bit further south, you get down to Iowa, you're starting to get locked in below freezing again. But you're still hanging on to pretty warm air down here in the deep south and the south central U.S. It's starting to get much colder in Oklahoma compared to like southern Texas. And then we move another panel here. This is kind of the first cold front, right? It starts to warm back up across the plains here, but not near as warm. So you're losing the 70s, just more so widespread 60s. And I can't talk this morning. I don't know why. I've had to start the video over about 10 times. Just keep getting my words tangled up. So if you hear any of that, try to bypass it in your ears there. But anyways, we're getting into Thursday. The cold is starting to reload again, and then by the time we're getting into Friday for highs, quite cold. The last Friday before Christmas, bitterly cold, single digits for highs up here in the upper Midwest, getting quite cold across Wisconsin, Iowa, even down to Illinois, high of only freezing in Chicago. And like I said, the tilt of this air mass is really, shooting towards the eastern U.S., so it's kind of weird, northeast Texas is colder than, say, Amarillo in western Texas because all the cold air is off to your east. And that's why I've been talking a lot on the east. I've already had some comments saying, Mitch, there's other people from other sections of the country that watch your channel. Well, the reason I haven't spoke much on the central and especially the western U.S. is because a ridge has dominated your pattern, which means we just get calm conditions. There's not a whole lot to speak on. We've continued to have these dips in the jet stream across the eastern U.S., so there's been some things to talk about. So that's why, I haven't been meaning to ignore you guys. There just hasn't been a whole lot to speak on. But you get into Saturday, still cold up there, and then the temperatures begin to moderate into Sunday, not quite as cold, but still cold. I mean, still cold high temperatures up here, but nothing too far away from your average type stuff. But, you take a look at the minimum temperatures, the low temperatures. Tomorrow morning, nothing extreme. It's just when you start to get into, say, Wednesday morning, you're starting to get below zero low temperatures up here in North Dakota, areas of northern Minnesota, even Montana. Moderates a little bit, and then look at the cold air for Friday morning, going for like the negative teens. So this is pretty cold. I mean, very cold leading up to Christmas. Cold days leading up to Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then it starts to tilt to the east a little bit, but very cold. I mean, locked in below freezing, all the way down here to Arkansas, sub-freezing low temperatures, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. I mean, all the way to about the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then very cold low temperatures across the upper Midwest. I mean, this is Sunday morning. You're going to have some temperatures below zero up here, so, and then everything begins to moderate. And you look at the eastern U.S., these are high temperatures a day. Look at these 70s across the deep. This is tomorrow. 70s across the deep south, the southeast, all the way up into the mid-Atlantic. You got highs well into the 60s, 80s down here in Florida. A little bit cooler in the Midwest. Then we get into Wednesday, kind of the same deal. Then we get into Thursday. First cold front kind of moves through here. Not overly cold in the Northeast compared to average temperatures, but still quite chilly. Hanging on to warm air for dear life down here in South Georgia, low country of South Carolina, Florida, starting to get chilly in Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and Georgia. And then we start to move into Friday, hanging on to that warm air, but here comes the cold air. Now you're starting to get highs only in the 40s in like Nashville, 30s in Kentucky, points north. I mean, some areas just below freezing. And then we get into Saturday. And remember, we got a big day this coming Saturday with the college football playoffs. I think Tennessee plays Ohio State, for example. That is going to be a very chilly game, very, very cold game. Who knows? Maybe some snow flying around. We'll have to just continue to watch things. But look at the high temperatures all the way down to the Carolinas, the southeast, the deep south. Only 40s. Some areas might not get out to 30s. And then we look at Sunday, another cold day. I look at the Northeast for Sunday. I mean, highs only in the teens, the 20s. And then things begin to moderate a little bit, but still a cold day into Monday. And even Christmas Eve can be quite cold as far as high temperatures. But then as we're getting to Christmas Day, it does look like it's starting to warm up. But low temperatures, we're starting to get into Thursday. These are low temperatures. These low temperatures Friday, but the core of the coldest air mass here does not move in, I would say, until like Saturday and Sunday. So we're starting to get in the 30s for low temperatures in the Panhandle of Florida, North Florida, deep into the 20s across the Ohio Valley, the Mid-South, and then even colder Sunday morning, where temperatures are in the low to mid-teens, single digits in the Great Lakes region, single digits across the Northeast. And then Monday morning could be one of the coldest mornings for the extreme eastern U.S. For example, going for 23 at my house, that's pretty cold for any time of the year, honestly. Even the coldest parts of January, that's pretty cold. It's below average. So we've had some shots of very cold air across the eastern U.S. I mean, it's been overall a below average temperature-wise December. So we just have not had the moisture to tango with it. So, but just to take another look at this, temperatures compared to average, when you see the greens, that's like 10 to 15 degrees below average. You can see the quick shot of cold air getting into the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, hanging around all the way to Christmas Eve, and you can already see the very warm air starting to take over. And it hangs on all the way to about, even for the southeast, maybe all the way into the morning of the 26th, and then all of a sudden the warm air takes on over, and it looks like between around Christmas Day pretty much to New Year's, we're going to have a warmer than average period across most of the lower 48. It'll be great weather. If you're getting your kids, Santa Claus brings some outside toys. You buy some outside toys for your kids, or if you're an adult and like outside toys, and I'm like that. I think it'll be a great stretch of weather. Temperature wise, you got to watch out for storm systems across the country. So, but what about any sort of weather? We're not going to spend quite as much time on this as we have, but we are going to spend a little bit of time on it. Okay, so start off Wednesday morning. Here's the latest GFS. Here comes that first system we've been talking about. This could bring a little bit of snow for the Great Lakes region, lower Michigan, UP, and Michigan. This is all rain from like West Virginia points south. Maybe a little snow for northern Ohio, but this is all rain from D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, all rain. There is enough cold air where you get some snow. Maybe several inches of snow up here in the interior New England and Northeast areas. Adirondack, Green and White Mountains, all the way to the mountains and just pretty much Maine. All rain for the southeast. Okay, some cold air will follow that, and then here comes a big chunk of northern stream energy right here. Pretty much an aggressive clipper, which is all we've pretty much had in these shots of cold air all December. It's been quite annoying if you ask me, because we just cannot get anything different to shake up the pattern. Now, I've said this many times in my videos. There's a lot of energy up above that you cannot see reflecting to the surface. So you're just seeing these, what looks like just light blue, some splotches are darker blue. This is just light to moderate snow. But you see this light snow right here, trying to move and get close to the DC area. We're seeing just splotches of blue everywhere, stretching all the way down to the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, all the way up here to southern New England, all the way back here to southern Ontario. Just splotchy blues everywhere. And that just tells me, what that tells me is there's a lot of energy here, but there's not enough energy coming together to make a bigger system. So this is Friday afternoon. We're getting to Friday evening. If you're going out in the town Friday night to do any kind of festive activities, look at Christmas lights, heck, just chill at the house, watch a Christmas movie, whatever you're doing, it could be very festive. Is this going to be a full-fledged raging winter storm? It does not look like it. But, I mean, this does show snow all the way down to the southern apps. Like if you're going to the mountains this weekend and North Carolina, Tennessee, I mean, I would watch out. It could be a festive weekend. When I say festive weekend, I mean, the snow mixing with the Christmas vibes, stuff like that. And then look at southern New England, a little bit of snow. It looks like a little splotch of heavy snow, not a forecast, around Philadelphia. And there's just something trying to get going here. And I've been talking about that over and over and over again. There's something there. And look at this northwest flow snow down the southern and central apps. And, you keep this going. And there's energy right here. You just can't see it because it's not reflecting to the surface as rain or snow. And this dives down and nothing ever gets going here. Okay? So I'm going to go on and take this all the way to about Christmas because there is an interesting period leading up to Christmas. And there's some snow Christmas Eve breaking out across the Northeast. I mean, this is getting all the way to Christmas Eve night. Look at the freezing rain trying to show up. I don't know if this is going to happen. And it does show some snow Christmas morning across areas of the Northeast. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but there's some weird model runs that keep showing up for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So let's back all this up, and I want to show you something. So this is Wednesday afternoon, a couple days from now, right? This is Wednesday afternoon. So when I keep talking about energy up above, this is what I'm talking about. So you see this big strand of rain right here. You see the snow up here, northern stream, southern stream, a little bit connection here. Well, you can see it right here too. There's the energy right here. There's that energy right here in the form of just some rain. Compare, compare, compare. Makes sense, right? I hope it does. And you keep this going, and that energy continues to move. All right, so we're starting to get into Thursday morning. A little bit of a lull. Not a whole lot going on. Now, one thing, here's a great example. There's energy showing up above in this area, but a lot's not reflecting to the surface at all. There's a little bit of rain off the coast of the Carolinas, but that's it. There's nothing wrapping up, though. Too much of a, I would say, a positive tilt. So you go back to this. What's next? Here comes that clipper. All right, so we'll stop it here. This is Friday afternoon. We'll bring in the Friday afternoon. Makes sense, right? Big old area of energy moving across the eastern U.S. You compare that with the surface, just areas of snow. But is there any strengthening of this energy? So you go back to that. There it is. It's trying to take on more of that negative tilt, more neutral negative tilt. It's trying to wrap up here. It's trying. So we're getting a late Friday night and a Saturday morning. Take it to that same time period, and there it is. There's a low pressure trying to develop right here because the system is strengthening. It just does not do it in time. It does it in time enough for our friends here in like Atlantic Canada. I mean, and we're going to start talking about you guys a little bit more. Brings a big winter storm Friday night into Saturday for Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Cape Breton Island. Winter storm for you guys. And this could be we'll have to watch Newfoundland too. But there's certainly stuff to watch up here. So the next thing I want to look at, and I want to go back to this, and I'm going to go back to that, and I'm not going to spend this much time on each model, but I'm just kind of showing you an example. We take it to that next time frame. Okay, here it comes. This is getting into Saturday afternoon. We'll back it up and look at this. Saturday afternoon. You see this right here digging down? It's just enough to reflect a little bit of snow in Iowa. Okay, this continues to dig down. We get into like Sunday morning. This is getting into Sunday morning. There's something there. There's something that continues to be there, but there's nothing reflecting. We need this. We need everything to slow down. The pattern is moving at jet speed, and we just need it to slow down, but there's no blocking up top to the north to slow the pattern now. And that's what's killing us here. There's something lurking, but it cannot reflect the surface because the pattern is just moving way too fast. And that's what's killing us here for us winter weather fans. It won't, the miracle snow around, even for the southeast. I mean, there's something lurking there, but it just cannot reflect to the surface because the pattern is moving too fast. The flow is moving too fast is the better word to use. And here comes the Euro. Euro, same thing. Interior northeast snowfall Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That moves out. Here comes that northern stream energy. Throwing some snow across the Great Lakes region. Could get the lake effect snows going. This tries to dip down Friday into northern Ohio. Gets all the way into the northeast. There it is. Same thing with the GFS. Here it is with the Euro. Low pressure tries to develop at the last second. But it just does not do it in time to deliver heavier snow for maybe even the mid-Atlantic on the northeast. It does bring some enough energy down here to deliver some snow all the way down to the southern Alps. And it even tries to develop something here. And look at this. What's interesting here is look at the southern New England here. Saturday morning brings some snow all the way to Boston, a heavy burst of snow. Cape Cod, Rhode Island, that could deliver several inches of snow. And then look at the lake effect snows ongoing, across the northeast. They get going, shot of cold air, and we're just going to get some more lake effect snow. I don't think it'll last that long, but then you continue to move on. Is there any energy on the Euro that's showing on the GFS? There is some stuff down here, but there's just nothing that can get going that will reflect the surface. And then what's interesting is the Euro did something wild yesterday and delivered winter weather for way down south Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day. But this run, it wants to deliver snow into the evening of Christmas Eve, if you will, some snow to Chicago, and then we start to get into Christmas Eve morning. Man, that would be cool. Cleveland, Ohio, areas of Indiana, some Christmas Eve snow, and that's, by the time we get into Christmas Eve evening, some light to moderate snow breaking out across areas of southern Ontario, the Ohio Valley into the interior sections of the Northeast. And we wake up Christmas morning and the Euro says, hey, maybe a little light freezing rain all the way down to central VA. So I think there's still some question marks for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, give or take a day. Some weird stuff keeps showing up in that time frame. And then, last thing we look at the Canadian, same thing, maybe a winter storm for the interior sections of the Northeast. Wednesday night into Thursday morning, lake effect snow, northern stream energy moving in. There's the low pressure developing right there. It's right there, man. Just not close enough. And then we move into that next time period. And look, you see, there's something trying to get going over here now. Sunday morning, a little bit of freezing rain. Then that energy, that turns into a full-fledged winter storm for Iowa, northern Missouri, Illinois, the morning of the 23rd. And a little bit of warm air gets involved. And yeah, this is just stuff we need to watch. It is. Now, what about that snow signal? Remember, this goes in 24-hour increments, periods. Okay, so Wednesday morning, there's that first storm system that brings some light to moderate snow across the Great Lakes region, southern Ontario, the interior sections of the Northeast and New England. A few inch snowfall mean. That moves in. Here comes the Clipper right behind it. Brings a few to maybe even several inches of snow from Minnesota through Wisconsin, through the Great Lakes region, all the way through southern Ontario. And that will try to get that northwest flow snow ongoing all the way down to the Smokies, certainly the higher elevations of West Virginia, the Allegheny Mountains. And here's another. And listen, the signal was there also for like New York City to Boston too. And I think that this is going to be a pattern that supports a lot of festive flurries and snow showers Friday into Saturday across even the mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, certainly the Great Lakes region, and maybe even areas of the Midwest. And there's just a large, broad signal for this. I think if you're going to the mountains this weekend, in the Appalachian Mountains, I think it's a good weekend to go if you want to see some flakes flying around, depending on your location. And I'm really thinking about it myself, just going up there to see the snow mixed with the Christmas lights. I really am. My wife's down with it. She's down with everything. She's cool. But anyways, getting into Sunday, there's just continues to be a little signal down here. I wouldn't even call it a signal, just flashes on the ensemble guidance. And then we get closer to Christmas, and we'll have to flip this and go to that. We get closer to Christmas, right? There's another signal up here for something getting into Christmas Eve. And there's even a little signal down here for Virginia and these places. So, that's just stuff we watch here. But, you look at the Euro ensemble. Here comes the first wave, brings a couple to a few inches of snow across the interior Northeast. And then here comes that aggressive Clipper that brings a few to several inches of snow across the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes region, southern Ontario, all the way into the Northeast. And here it is, just, Friday night into Saturday, just a festive looking setup, snow potential all the way down to the southern Alps. The same thing, guys. And there's a potential for something to get going here in the north, in like New England, for example. And then what happens after that? It's tough. It really is a huge, broad signal for something in this area. That is a huge, broad signal. Huge, weak, broad signal, if that makes any sense. And then that moves through. So we'll continue to watch this. And one thing I want to go back and kind of look at here is I think we do have, we do have the 06Z Euro. I just kind of want to look at this just to look at it here. And here comes the first system, snow for the interior Northeast. And just to see if anything's changed. It only goes 144 hours out. And then here comes that Clipper behind it. Man, I tell you, man, it is close. So even on this one, it's closer. It's like a little tick closer. And this is what I'm talking about. Let's spend some time on this here really quick. And this is what I'm talking about. Low pressure develops right here. Right? There's so much energy up above sitting right here. that it's actually bringing some light rain across North Carolina. Now, I don't think you're cold enough here because yeah, I mean, you're not even close to cold enough, only in the 40s. But you do get cold enough shortly after. But it's just close to something, and it's tearing my nerves up. I want it to happen so much. You can see the energy diving down right here. And if you look at, and let's just go on and play the run all the way through. And if you look at the actual energy up above, here it is. You see it digging down right here? Man, it is close. I'm telling you, there's something there. It is close. It's like it's teasing us. It just won't completely go away, or it won't come together for us. And it does stink here. And you can actually look at the run-to-run trend with this here. And there it is. Energy really coming together. And if we look at the changes, yeah, I mean, you see the blue here. That means that it's trending towards digging more, which is what you want to see. So it's just interesting stuff to me. And I mean, even the backside stuff. So we just got to continue to watch this, guys. Who knows? I mean, I think it would be really cool if maybe this thing just kind of, I mean, I would say it wouldn't sneak up on us because we've been talking about it for a while. But if it kind of surprised us and did something and went the other way for a change, right? So as far as what's happening today, a little glitching up here in Canada. I hope you guys are okay with the glitch. But you got this system right here that's bringing some heavy rain this morning across Long Island. A little bit of a wintry mix up here in Connecticut. I think there was a snow icon even for northern sections of Rhode Island this morning. Maybe a quick wintry mix for Boston this morning. Then we got some heavy rain. Even some thunderstorms, even a severe thunderstorm warning in southern Missouri this morning. Wild stuff. But a big chunk of rain right here moving across the Mississippi Valley all the way into the southern sections of the Midwest. And we got this big system moving into the western U.S. But we continue to move forward here because that glitching is killing me. We got these winter weather advisories still up for PA, even some lingering winter storm warnings up for western Maryland. We got some winter weather advisories up for almost all of Connecticut except the coastal regions. Rhode Island, everybody has winter weather advisories, and a couple of them oozing into southwestern Mass. So that's what's going on right now. Now, if we continue to kind of zoom out here, winter weather advisories across areas of the Pacific Northwest, winter weather advisories across Northern California. So that's what's going on right at this second. Middle of the country, pretty quiet. The risk of thunderstorms in this green area, thunderstorms for southern Florida. Some thunderstorms are possible also for eastern, western Oregon. But the risk of flash flooding just not really there today. But the southeast, we're going to get some thunderstorms that'll sweep across Kentucky. If not storms, just some heavy rain. Some thunderstorms are possible in western Tennessee today. Some more thunderstorms in Arkansas. Some thunderstorms can get bubbling up down here in eastern Texas, southern Louisiana. And this rain will eventually make it all the way into northern Alabama, northern Georgia, and then eventually into the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina. And then we'll take it all the way into Tuesday morning. Could be waking up to some thunderstorms again in southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, and Florida. But that's about it. What's going on with the southeast today? The northeast, this heavy moisture will likely dissipate pretty quick today. So any kind of wintry mix or just heavy rain will diminish by the time we get into about lunchtime today. Maybe some leftover showers in Long Island. Then we'll have this push of rain throughout Ohio and the western UP of Michigan, the eastern UP of Michigan today. Some rain moving across West Virginia. It'll be a rainy commute home for Pittsburgh, western PA, getting into the southern tier of New York, and then we'll just have some showers overnight across. Just good old rain, but let me tell you, it's gonna get snowier for you folks later in the work week. So if you're booing this, don't worry, it'll change fast. But some rain will sweep through across the Northeast. Almost everybody in the Northeast will get it later tonight. The south central U.S., just those thunderstorms is possible here in southeast Oklahoma. Eastern Texas, Arkansas, some thunderstorms today will sweep across the state. And then by the time we get into the late evening, into the overnight, into the morning hours, we could get some thunderstorms continuing here in central Texas and just the border of Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. And then the north central U.S., that rain will clear out. A little bit of cold air will move in. Not a lot, though. maybe some sprinkles, some snowflakes flying around the UP of Michigan, northeast Minnesota. Outside of that, guys, a little area of snow will try to greet you guys in the western sections of the Dakotas. Maybe some flurries, some snow showers, maybe rain showers here in eastern Nebraska tomorrow morning. But outside of that, pretty quiet weather. Big storm system continues across the Pacific Northwest. We have those winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories across many areas in the northern Rockies. And this will continue to go on, just rounds of precipitation, and all the way through tonight, through tomorrow morning. And then it'll even continue to really add up here in the Cascades tomorrow especially. And then things begin to warm on up. But between now and the next 48 hours, heaviest snow will obviously be in the Cascades, the Olympic Mountains, but this is just too warm for Seattle down to Portland and these places. Spokane, maybe around an inch of snow. Just kind of want to get a little bit more personal with you guys out here, show each state. The Cascades, heavy snow. The mountain range or the coastal range, not enough cold air with this system. This is what you're seeing for these areas. And then Northern California, not as much snow with this, with the Sierra Nevada, but certainly watching. And then we look at Montana and Idaho. And Great Falls could certainly get an inch and a half of snow. And Boise to Twin Falls, this is definitely not going to be a system that gives you guys really much of any snow. So we'll continue to watch this. But temperatures today, it's definitely a warming trend for at least a couple days, all the way up to the Midwest, where temperatures will get into the 50s and low 60s. So you're even getting back above freezing for the Northeast, the Southeast, Deep South, 60s and 70s. And then the Western U.S., this is what we look like. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless all y'all. We'll continue to watch things. Maybe if we all come together and pray for some beautiful miracle winter storm for the people who want it. As always, the things that some people like are things that people hate. So there's a lot of people that are rooting against it. But I think, I can't speak for everybody, but I think that a lot of people would be willing to take one for the team if we could get somehow some miracle winter weather events before Christmas. I know the kid in me always hopes for it, and I think I always will hope for it to the day I die. I don't know. It's just something that's always stuck with me. Even being somebody that lives in South Carolina, I know a lot of people shoot off the hip, man, you just need to move north. And you're right, I do, and I might. But it's hard to uproot your entire family, uproot everything, and move all the way to the UP of Michigan or the Northeast just because I like snow. That would be very selfish of me. So, but anyways, God bless all y'all. Enough of all that. Y'all have a wonderful day. Have an awesome Monday. Make today great. And I'll talk to you again soon. God bless.